Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. There's the headphone set. I was trying to figure out where it's at. All right. What do we got going on? It's 8:30. Now just turning 8:31 on the East Coast here, a.m. And as I usually throw in there, it's 10:30 p.m. in Tokyo. So you can figure out how the global market and what they're thinking. How's that? Just physically. They're having cocktails right now in Tokyo, or are they caring about what we do as we open? I would imagine they're watching our open, and in another hour they'll have the cocktails. Or they had them first. They had their sake, and then they watch the market, and then they bail. Either way, here we go. And as you can see, the dollar index is right there on J. Oop, wrong place. There we go. On J4X, another day green. Huh? Interesting. Let's see how that's going here. I did see the 30-year bond still on a downwardly drift. Let's find the dollar index over on Chicago Quant. Chicago Quant. Da 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 da. Right there. There it is. And ooh, there's cool. Now that's messed up. So let's see if we can get that to work right. Because yesterday was a lot more dynamic and went into a buy. We know that much, and it's in the buy now. But let's see, what can I put it? Let's see, what is this? CME, right? So let's go with the CME. There we go. Let's see what that does to it. Does that help it? Yeah, that helps it. There we go. So you can see we're in a second day of the buy there. Could have sworn we were 3 days in a buy. Let's double check that. 17th, 18th. Yep. Okay, good. And I thought it went into the buy on Friday. Now it's not. We'll have to double check all this because look at that. The red line is there. It needs to be moved over. The green line is missing altogether. Here, something's brewing wrong. Let's just shove that over to here for the time being. But I believe we're a third day in a buy. And I think that some of this data is screwed up and we'll have to just chase it. Is that the 10th? That's the 10th. Okay. Either way, that's where we're at the moment. They're selling it back down again. That kind of makes some sense. I really thought that, when you look at the bond action itself, let's just take a quick look. There's the 30-year bond. You see it's trying to move up. Remember, when it goes down in price, that means interest rates are rising. And when it's rising in price, interest rates are dropping. And that's usually a good influence on the dollar index and currencies and pairs trades and so forth. The fundamentals. I know. What a unique universe. A fundamental. Oh, let me turn the chat line on. I just looked over to see if anybody said something about my statement. And there's no... Let's go to Ducoscopy. And there we go. We'll probably get an advertisement beforehand, of course, but that's quite all right. And then we have... I don't see anything on the chat line. Oh, there we go. There's Metho. Yo, Metho, what's cooking? I was kind of like excited this morning when I got up. But I've been up for over 4 hours now, and almost 4.5 hours. And I was like, okay, where's natural gas? I'm ready to buy natural gas. And I looked at the weekly in it, and nothing going on there. Let's just take a quick look at natural gas just for the sake. Yeah, it was kind of like leaning down, and I was like, come on, weekly, get going. We got the fast moving through it. Anyhow, that's where my head's at. Potatoes. You want to trade potatoes? Didn't Robin explain that to you about potatoes? You can't trade potatoes. They're a bunch of thieves. They will let train cars loaded with potatoes rot so that they can push the price up. So it's really hard to trade potatoes. Onions and potatoes are tough to trade. They've done all kinds of bad things. Nat gas and recession doesn't fit. It's QE. Welcome to the QE world. Nothing fits. No, actually, it's the other way around. One size fits all. That's what it comes down to in the quantitative easing era. That's what it is. It's they started that in 2008, and here we are. It's what is it? 2023. So we're like 15 years into this craziness almost at this point. Next buy at 170 on the. I don't think they're going back down there. I really don't. I don't think they're going to challenge the low lows. I've seen on the expiring contract get down to say 1.9. What did we see? I think we saw a 1.88 the day before it expired. 1.88. I saw that, but then literally when you switched to the next contract, it was like 2.06 or something like that. There was or 2.10 or 2.11 or 2.14. So buy low, sell high. I agree. I totally agree. And average down, don't average up. I agree. One of the worst things I've seen out of this whole era, is that people have gotten comfortable to average up. We have a client that does that sometimes, and Robin and I go totally nuts. It's like, no, you can't average up. You cannot average up. You have to take profits. If it's rising, take profits off. Don't add more. Yeah, exactly. I hear you. Buy low, sell high. Or sell it short high and buy it back cheaper. Follow the trend. Yes, exactly. The trend is your friend. That's what we do here every day, right? We look at the weekly trend. We look at the daily trend. When both trends are joining together, we say be long. If it's on the upside. If they're both falling down, it's, be short, or at least out, one or the other. Bitcoin at 60,000. 60,000. It was at 30,000 a couple of days ago. I don't think it's at 60,000. What do you mean? Like when it got up to 60,000? Well, it went from 1 cent to 60,000. So, it would be different if it had been around for 25 or 30 years and trading in the 25s and ran up to 60,000. I could see getting trapped. But then our math picked that up, remember? You were around for that. Our math picked it up. We saw that the thing was topping out. And, we had no problems. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. It's in a sell wasn't a sell for a couple of days, 3 days. Nice move. Oh, it's over to 30 again. Look at that. It's leading the stock market again as usual. Buy the trend at 60,000. No, don't buy the trend at 60,000. What if we're in a weekly sell and a daily sell? You're going to buy the trend. You're going to muscle on it. Why fight something that's 8.5 out of 10 times right? Instead, you would stand to the side, have a position, and even at the all-time highs, loosen up a little bit. Buy only cheap. Exactly. You can't go wrong by buying cheap. Long as the math is in your favor, the trend is in your favor. In other words, there's a quality thing there. I mean, you wouldn't want to buy Enron after it went from 66 down to like 10, That type of buying cheap is a definite no. Bitcoin at 15,000. Yeah. Well, we turned bullish right around in there. I think we've shown that many a time. Our work went into a buy like in October. I think it was in October. Yeah, up in here. You can see just some junk right there. You can see right here. It's trying to make it clear. We went into a buy in there somewhere in the 15s. And then, this is all sloppy at that point going back with the futures contract. But you can see, and then there was another buy here for the next move up into the 20s, or from the 15s to the 20s. And then, it tried to correct for a little bit in here for 3 or 4 weeks. And then went back into a buy again at 25. And we went to 30 and change. So, yeah, I hear you there. Your next buy in Bitcoin is 15,000. I hear you. I don't know if it'll see it for the time being. In other words, maybe they're not, and obviously the chances of them splitting it are very slim. 25, 50, 75. Okay, good for you. Altcoin, alternative coins, or is that an actual coin like Ethereum? Matter of fact, for those that have been around here a long time, guess who contacted me yesterday in the afternoon, right as the markets had closed? Wilco. Wilco contacted me. Is that a coin? Yeah, or just an alternative? Oh, an alternative. Okay. Yeah, Wilco. He used to do webinars here, and he was very big on the cryptos. And he was showing us different cryptos like every day and which ones were good technology compared to bad technology, and he did this about 7, 8, 9 years ago. He was doing a fine job, Bitcoin was trading at like, I remember I bought some Bitcoin at a gas station one time. Would you believe that? In a convenience store gas station. They had a machine up in the Princeton area that you could actually buy Bitcoin when you went to the gas station. You went into the store. Indeed, indeed. Okay. You'll trade with 12 altcoins. Cool. Go for it. All right. Yeah, so you can see there the Bitcoin's a happy little camper. It's turning into a buy with no problem today. Let's put it up over on J4X. Nope, that's not the way to do it. Right there. There it is. There it is. It'll roll over soon. It'll start to turn up in another hour or two. You can see the green line trying to turn. And with us like this, and then a weekly buy, this will turn into a green very soon. Very, very soon. All right. I traded the next hype with 12 altcoins, and they lost 90%. So are you loading up on it? What was their I don't, like I said, I only pay attention to 2 coins, Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't really pay attention to the others because there's no futures contracts and options on them. Anything with an option or a future, I'll pay attention to. So, is it, it should have rebounded, right? It should be down only 40% now. Because I think, you bought when it was down at 90%. Good. Because it's got to be only down like, 40 or 50% now. So that makes sense. That makes total sense. The next hype will come. I'm sure it will. Well, it's not as much the hype. I was listening to a Chicago trader yesterday that was being interviewed that I used to trade with. I remember, and I forget his last name. But, he was saying that, he has no problem with the cryptos now. As far as he's concerned, they're just an alternative to the other products, the stock indices and the currencies and all like that. So, as far as he's concerned, he said, I'd rather have $1 million worth of crypto and lose it, because if it takes off to the moon, it means the rest of our banking system has fallen apart. So I kind of go with that. I know that some are walking around saying 100,000 is next stop. I kind of doubt that. But I would believe that they will take out the all-time high. That is coming. I'm sure of that. I don't know when. 6 months from now, a year from now, year and a half from now. I would guesstimate. No math is teaching me that. Telling me that. But I would guesstimate if it's going to take out an all-time high, it's probably going to be going into 24. I would think. Mid 24 or late 24, something like that. So year and a half from now. We'll see. The next hype will come. Always. A free market always has hypesters running around. They're always around here somewhere. That's for sure. Oh, Tay. I guess what we should do is jump into... Let's see where we're at. There it is. We should jump into... Where should we jump? We should jump into the euro. Let's see what the euro's up to this morning. Unless... Metho, you want to see something? We'll go right to it. And there is the euro. There we go. Looks like they did close the Turkish lira into a daily sell there yesterday. All right, and there's the euro. It's trying to turn back up. It's a second day in a sell. I had a red line there. Where'd the red line go? I'm just going to steal one from another spot like that. Steal that one. There it is. I know I put it in there yesterday. I could have sworn I did. All right. And you can see we're in the weekly buy, and everything's above the manifold, so I'm not exactly concerned about this move here. In other words, I just thought it was a simple take a profit digestion thing. And over on J4X, let's find it and put it up over the J4X right there. As this is heading down with 2 reds, and now actually it's turning up. J4X says right there. 2 reds also, and still heading down. like here, except for, with the hinky making it look like it's still going down, but we both know it's plus. It's turning up. You can see it right here. It's telling us that it's plus. So it's higher than yesterday. And I imagine, it'll find a way to start to bottom out and lift back up. Be right back. Hey, Robin, how you doing? All right. From there, we slide over to Kabelaya, Cable Ruski. Let's see what the cable is doing. And there it is right there. That's on its second day, and it's cutting through the line, so forth and so on. And over here, we're starting to turn up. Got some volatility signal going on. A couple days in the sell. Again, I know I had a red line over there. I'm stealing that one. Let me go back and steal one of these. I hate that. I hate those Mises 2 pieces. Matter of fact, a lot of lines are missing. So that one's missing. And I'm going to have to put some in now. The buy is missing. I don't get it. And then there's the sell. So let's go like that. And like so. All right. Now you can see here on the cable on the weekly, it's looking very firm. Just flirting with the top of the manifold. Not too concerned. We'll see how well they turn up. Same situation here. Look how low. Well, it's not that low. It's only 50% down. Because when you go like that, you see that it's not nowhere near low. So maybe this is some type of big A or 1, and this is going to be the B going on right in here. This was a 5-wave up. It looked pretty good. Like there's 1, there's the 2, or 2, then a 3, 4, and then a 5, and then you have this is your ABC. And maybe it hangs out in here somewhere, or if you're looking through it through an R and Elliott, jaded glasses. Metho says, NASDAQ, please, 100. Come on down. Let's take a look at the Tech 100. And there she blows. The great Tech 100 on a third day in the buy. It is 2, 4, 6 full weeks in a buy. Let's take a look at it over here. Over here. Over there. The Yanks are coming. There it is, right? The Tech 100. Right, there you go. No, that's not the Tech 100. That's the That's the Russell 2000. There's the Tech 100 right above it. Yeah. Lots of strength trying to go up. Again, see how that stopped towards the 50% area? Based, went up. Went there again. Based, went up. We're doing it again now here. Maybe it's going to take that high out. And it took out that high. And it took out this high. So, higher lows until there. And that's probably because it's stretched out. So we might see the Tech 100 keep on rolling along. If interest rates keep on just going sideways and down overall, yeah, I expect to see the Tech 100, do its thing on the upside. And, markets like, as we say here many times, markets like to anticipate what's going to happen in the future. And when I say the classic of what we used to say on Wall Street, and that is buy on rumor, sell on news. So they'll keep on buying and buying and buying on the rumor that interest rates are dropping. And then when they're finally done dropping and everybody's comfortable with that, then they'll sell them down a little bit. There we are. And that's where we are right there. And then what we have is we have this situation right here going on. We have the Tech 100 looking very healthy. Over here, it's the fast broke through the manifold on the weekly. We'll see how long that lasts and if it starts to turn up over the next day or two. Today's early. It's early in the week still, Tuesday. So I'm not worried about that yet. They did curve together. Let's see if they kind of stall out, if we get another up day, this could start to drive this thing. It could definitely start to drive it. And that's that for the moment. Now, what's the next thing we look at? Anything else, Metho? If not, I will go right back to, where was I at? Cable, right? So from cable, we'll go over to the Swiss franc. The Swissy. Swissy Swa. Bing. Bing, bing, bing. Up and a buy for 2 days. None of these lines stayed. I don't get it. I thought I saved them all. There we are. So there's the buy. And the weekly looks fine, looks fine. And I'm expecting this to just roll over again, go sideways. It's kind of pretty low at the moment. It's going to be a little hard for them to put two. I could see with the way it's acting at this point. Let's go over and take a peek on J4X, and let's look at the Swiss. Right there. And then let's look at it on a little bit. Wow. We are doing some good lows in here, aren't we? So let's go into a weekly. Make it the whole picture for a moment here and see if we can get a flavor. See if we can get a flavor of what's going on here. Last time it was down in this area was that 2015? No. Okay, there it is right there. In 2000, what is that? 2021. It went down into the 86s. So they may bounce around, get down to the 86s, and then kind of support itself and do this stuff right here. Just a sideways chop. It could just go on, for a long while, just chopping, going basically in some type of envelope. All right. There we are. And let's get back to the daily. And that's where we're at now with the Swiss. From the Swiss, we'll go over to Mr. and Mrs. Yen. See what the yen is up to. There it is right there. And as you can see here, it's been a daily buy for 3 days. The weekly buy is piercing up. I mean, the fast had jumped up and we weren't taking it. Well, I was kind of concerned, but my heart was saying, please roll over again. And now we've got this going on. So I'm not sure what the issue is there. I really thought they were going to find the 125. It seems to stalled at 127. And that's okay. It's, when I throw some of those ideas out, they're just opinions. In the end result, we follow the math. The math is always going to be right more than me with an opinion on what it what it can do in 5 weeks or 3 weeks. Just like when I said, wouldn't surprise me if we see, Bitcoin up at 60,000 going into mid or end of 24. That wouldn't surprise me either. But does the math tell me that? No. The math tells me right now it's trying to go into a daily buy, and it's been in a weekly buy. And that's all I know is that the trend, as Metho was saying, the trend is our friend here. That's what we do. We follow the trends, and they confirm each other every week, every day. They're giving us a confirmation, and we're following through on it. But, it's, when I look at the others, I just look at old supports and old resistances, and that's where we get like the 60,000 is that I could see, because I really think that what's going to happen is, as much as everybody's concerned about a recession and so forth, I think that the stock market's going to is going to stay in a sideways choppy motion throughout this whole thing. And over the summer could be really good premium selling. They may not even get any grip on the market itself. It may just go sideways. And, and you sell call spreads at the top and put spreads down below, and they just melt away like ice cream in the summertime on the out in the sun. So that's what I'm thinking there. And then we go on to the next thing. I really think that there's going to be some real political explosions going on going into the fall. I think that we're going to be seeing some. I'm not too convinced in my head that Mr. Biden's going to make a full term. I really think he's going to retire in the middle of it somehow. He's going to pull a Nixon and split. We'll see. Could be wrong. They may leave him there as a ceremonial all the way up to the end. Anything's possible. All right, from the yen, and as you can see there, we can even put a little circle in there right now because the thing is roaring this morning, really up. Look at that. Really jumping. It's joined in with the fast, and it doesn't seem to care. It's like the honey badger. It don't care. All right, from there we took at the Turkish lira. It went into the sell yesterday. I think when we sent out the sheet, it was on a buy still. But they finally closed it in the sell yesterday. And then they opened it, and it's moving a little bit up today. Some action to it. It's in the weekly still, so I'm not exactly excited about trying to short something like this. It's just kind of humming along. I'd imagine it could digest for a couple of days, and then the next thing you know is maybe they're going to go after their all-time highs we're looking at right there. I think that is the all-time high right there. I think that's it, the 2169. If we scrunch this up and look at the all-time high, you'll see it'll jump out real quick soon. No, it didn't. Why didn't it not jump out? I guess I have to put more time into it. But I think the all-time high is like right there. Let's go time-wise. Let's go with, no, not there. Days back. Let's make it 700. Okay. And let's make the weekly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's at all-time highs now. Make that 900. Yeah, there's the all-time high right there. So you can see that. That's the all-time high, which was 2092. Is that right? Let's widen that a little bit. Yeah, the all-time high let's put it this way, it has broken through it already. Okay, so 2073 was the all-time high. So what we're looking at here, I guess that's the all-time high right there. So let's widen that out again. And so it's not, it was one of those insane days where it just, was jumping all over the place. And then we're basically in the all-time high area. I guess now it's 22 and change. 22.22. Wow. What issues that poor currency has?
Market data connection lost.
Those people on that island. Oh. Okay. Anybody ever see the movie Galaxy Quest? Where these aliens actually think everything on our TV is historical documentation. And there was a TV show back in the 1960s called Gilligan's Island. And they also, when they met Earthlings, they were just talking about different things, and then they said, and they saw that they had watched Gilligan's Island, and the Earthlings did. And the moment he showed that they saw that they watched Gilligan's Island, the aliens said, "Oh, those poor people, trapped on an island." Oh my God. Anyway, that's where we are. All right, now from there we'll go over to the two currencies that match up to energy. Here's Canadian, as you can see right there. And let's put energy up on J4X. Let's see. Right there it is. Interesting. Goldman Sachs is getting smacked, but everybody else is healthy. So the S&P 500. Let me go over and take a look at the S&P 500 real quick, and we'll come right back to this. Yeah, the S&P 500 got up almost up to 4,200. It was 4,198.25. Now it's trading at 41.95. Now I have buy rights on. Let's see. What we have here is light moving down, and at the same time We have, as you can see there, you can see the Canadian was moving up, and now it's trying to back off a little bit today. And let's just take a look at the actual gas, or not, the crude oil right there. So it's heading down. Normally, Canadian would be going up. Notice it's been a little slopey down, sliding down for the last couple of days. And when you get that, then you look over at the Canadian, and it should be like sliding up. So that's where we're at there. And then here's the Canadian right here. There we are. And it's been sliding down. All right. Where do we go from here? We go over to... Where do we go to? We go to... Oh, where are you? There you are. Let's go over to the South African Rand. See what the South African Rand is doing. There we are. See, same thing. It moving up usually means gold is going down, and it has been. We saw gold going down, and today they're knocking, pushing down on the Rand itself against the dollar, but it's trying to get into a buy at the same time. The weekly, the fast is leaping through the zero line, and the green is kind of just underneath the manifold. If that thing ends up by the end of the week up almost, minus, but still through the manifold on the upside there, then this could be a very negative sign for gold. If it wasn't for the political turmoil going on down in South Africa right now, I'd be extremely nervous. Bear-wise, not nervous, just bearish. I'd be bearish on gold. So, what we'll do is we'll keep an eye. Obviously, we look at it every day. And now let's put up gold on J4X itself. Back, excelente, Robin, excelente. There it is, right there. There's gold. You can see gold just been kind of hovering along. It looks like it's plus for the day. Let's take a look at it over on J4. There's on J4X. Let's put it on Chicago Quant. Where's that? Right there. It's up a little bit after the last couple of days. It's trying, but look at the work on it. It's breaking down. Both are moving through the manifold now. I'm becoming concerned, and at the same time, I'm seeing, like I said, if it wasn't for the political turmoil going on in South Africa, with the way the Rand is acting, I would be saying, like, uh-oh, time to sell some calls, on the gold. If you're long it, sell some calls. Yep, that's what it's saying to me. Now, Goldman Sachs got some, I guess the future is down about 12 points, the stock, which is nothing. It's like 3.5%. Stocks can zip down, up and down, and have almost no effect overall. There's talk that they'll get bought, or they'll buy a bank, one or the other. They need to do something like a PNC or something like that. They're talking about it now. Huh. Yeah, they're saying... Interesting. Okay. They're talking about Goldman and so forth. What's going on with them in the future? The word has been for a little while now that they're going to buy a bank, a decent-sized bank, or they'll sell themselves to a bank and take the rest of their money. I think they're too expensive to buy, myself. I think they'd be better off buying a bank. Then they could walk away from it, package it all together, and sell it away there. All right, like JPM is. Then they could compete with JPM. They really could. Depends on who they pick up. Wouldn't it be something if it was Mellon? Imagine if Mellon, Bank of New York, bought Goldman. That's kind of expensive, though. But boy, what a powerhouse that would be. That would put competition to JPM very quickly. PNC, not as much, but it would perk both of them together. Let's put it that way. I would think that would be a good play. If anybody's out there listening at Goldman or at PNC, you guys should talk. Another sip of the tea. All right, from there, we'll take a look at the last of the currencies that we pay attention to, and that is the Mexican peso. But if anybody would like to see a currency, just let us know, and we will show it to you. That's not it. Right there. Cancel. Okay, there we are. There it is. There's the Mexican peso down at the bottom end of its range. The scare of them being part of the BRICS seems to have gone away. It didn't seem to, when the president of Mexico came out and said, yeah, we'll think about joining the BRICS, they clocked the currency. It went from the high 17s to the low 19s in a matter of like 3 days. I guess that was a wake-up call. Like, why are you tying yourself to a bunch of losers? I mean, the worst of them is probably the Brazilian real. They don't even make a quote for that thing. You can't even get one on Dukascopy. Then the second one is the Chinese yuan. That doesn't float. The best of the three of those is the currency that will not be named. The ruble. So can you imagine that? Out of the three of those, they're the ruble's the best. And when you compare the Mexican peso to the ruble, the Mexican peso is like the euro, and the ruble is kind of like an in between the Swiss franc and the kroner. I mean, that's not exact. In other words, the ruble wouldn't be a power. We've talked about this. It would not be if you had to put an index together like the dollar index, like the BRIC index. The powerhouse would be the Mexican peso. And then from there, it would probably be the South African rand. And then from there, it would probably be, it would be that would be the peso would be like 50% of the BRIC index. And then the South African rand might be, say, 15% of it. And then from there, it would go to, I guess, the rupee. The Indian rupee would be third. It would be, maybe, another 10%. So 75% would be those three currencies alone. And then from there, I guess maybe the ruble, could be like 5 or 6%. And then the Chinese yuan, and, they may adjust it to the point where the yuan is 2%, or say 3%, and the real is like 1%. And then the ruble might be, say, 6%. So it might go 631, so it'd be like 10%. So and then the rest of the index the power of the index would be, the Mexican peso would be 50 some odd percent, and the South African rand would be like 15%, and the rupee might be 10%. That could be literally it. The bulk of it would all be up at the top. The bottom three ones, you wouldn't even be involved with them mostly. So anyway, that's what I see there, and that's when I look at the Mexican peso and I say, geez, this is the powerhouse. If it ends up in the BRIC, the Mexican peso will be the powerhouse of the index itself, because they're going to have an index. You can't just have the BRICS without having an index. There's going to be people are going to want to trade it. There's talk on TV here that the Chinese government has something on the Biden family itself, because they're finding not hundreds, but millions upon millions of dollars being paid to their whole family. 11 of the Biden family, 11 different people in the Biden family have been getting money from China. Now, you'll be seeing that in the news in about another month and a half, 2 months, I imagine. 3 months, you might actually hear something. They'll say, allegedly, the dirty tricks of the Republicans. That's what they'll say. But we know it's not true. That's what they'll say. That's what the media will say. All right. From the Mexican peso, we slide back over to the metals complex. Right. Let's go like that. And we go like this. There's the S&P 500 near the highs of the day, playing around with the 4,200 area. All right, now there is gold. You can see it's trying to lift up a little bit, but it is in a sell, and the weekly is showing weakness. You see it up on J4X, same situation. It's doing, the three reds here. You see two reds here. It's showing that weakness. You see the lines burying down here, just like these lines are burying down over here. And at the same time, what else? I guess that's about it. Now let's jump over to too bright. There we are. There we are. So at this point, there's silver. And silver is trading at 25.04 at 07. Let's put her up on Chicago Quant. Look at that thing buried down. Now, how much is it really buried? It's only 50% down. So, I mean, it's not like it's gone all the way down to here. It might do all that green. Maybe it'll do a little digestion and turn back up again. There it is. See? Right there. There you go. That's exactly it right there. You can see that right there. I guess there's problems. There must be problems in the Senate, too, going on right now. They must have caught somebody that has some money from it. I understand that the vice president is also tied into that stuff. But I'm not going to say that out loud again until they actually start pushing more of the information. But I know that she's in the laptop that they have. She's a go-to when they can't get a hold of Biden. It actually says and gave her phone number. Contact her when she was a senator. So, anyhow, there's the silver. Let's check out copper. There's copper. You can see it tried to lift. It seems to have failed. Let's put it up over on J4X. Right there. Kind of like the same thing going on. So, at this point, copper, I understand that the GDP in China went out very positively. In other words, they were looking for, estimates were 4.0, and the Communist Party found a little extra, and the GDP, gross domestic product, came out at 4.5. So, woohoo. Hooray for them. Huh? Like, do I believe it? Nah, no, not at all. But, let's put it this way. If they had the GDP that they talked about, their currency would float. They would have a floating currency. And the world wouldn't trade 2.7% of it a day. They'd be trading 27% of it a day. So, no, not until I start to see a floating currency do I start paying attention to their numbers. All right, and so there's copper. And from copper, I don't think we looked at platinum yesterday. Now, platinum yesterday was getting picked up. It was being bought. And I thought, woo, that's so nice. Now, let's see if they've rolled over. Right there. There it is. Yeah, see there? And that is it right there. And there it is right there. Now, that doesn't make any sense because yesterday it looked like that. So let's go like this and shift where the draw is coming from. Let's see. Oh, it's on a default. All right, so let's go over and just put it on a 24-hour and see what that does. Let's see. What's that? Close. That doesn't make any sense either. Let me just go into the exchange itself and let me look at the chart on it. Let's see. Where's that mouse at? Let's see, futures, platinum. What's that, June? No, July. There it is. July, platinum. No, I guess that's what it happened in the end. It perked up, but it actually is looking good still. And then today it's jacking more. Maybe that was last night I saw it. I don't know. Anyway, it looks pretty good there, and it's matching up to the exchange. So, that's the only redeeming signal we're seeing at the moment. The others are starting to, specifically gold itself and the South African rand is making me a little concerned. But we're watching this every day. You tune in each day and we'll figure it out together. All right, now from there, we glide over to the energy sector. And there is crude oil. I mean, you can see it's basically unchanged. It's in a sell for a couple of days. The weekly got the fast breaking down, the slow moving up. Let's put it up on J4X. There is light sweet crude doing the same thing, breaking down a little bit and breaking down here. And then let's go check out Brent right there. Brent doing the same thing, having some resistance. It was up to 87 a couple days ago. Now it's trading at 84. So they're bringing this stuff down a little bit in here. And then, let's see. Let's go to the back month. Let's look at, is it July? Yeah, it's July right there. We're looking at May. There's the July. And you can see it's holding up pretty well also, but the fast is broken down. And the slow, the daily itself is down for a second day. But unchanged more than anything else. Nothing major. If this starts to perk up, then I would imagine we'll see gold start to perk up and silver. Now, silver obviously is it hit through the 26. Now it's trading at 25, basically. So let's just go back to silver again. I don't remember looking at it on Chicago Quant, just J4X. Yeah, so yeah, it's at 25.12 with a low today of 25.08. So maybe it'll find a way to bottom in there and turn back up. This is not looking that bad, and the oils will kind of tell us about that as it moves along. Now let's look at natural gas. There's nat gas, like unchanged. Yesterday was a nice move. The day before was very exciting, and you can see we are real close. Look at that, minus 0.03, just off on the slow. The fast is already through. So let's see where the fast is. Let's fix that and go like that. There we are. See, the fast is 0.05. It's in the plus. And so that's where we're at the moment. How else do we do this? I guess that's about it right there, right? So that's nat gas. Now, what we do is we slide over to Spain and take a look at that energy company that we watch. It gives us a flavor of what nat gas is in Europe, and it's been hanging in the 28s now for weeks. And when we got down to the 26s and 25s, we thought, okay, maybe it's a beginning of, the seasons are changing, the winter's going away. We thought, okay, we're going to start seeing that type of action in a positive way, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be more of there's pressure on it. So let's go find. I just had it. Where was it? There it is, right there. It was in the low 28s yesterday. I'm afraid it might be in the mid 28s today. Whoa! Yay! It broke the 28. Good. Good. It should be breaking the 28. It should be breaking the 27 and the 26. It should be breaking the 25 and the 23. It's the summer months coming on now. So we should be starting to see some backing off of the pressure on the energy sector that way. All right, now, where do we go from here? I guess what we do is we go to, that's the end of the energies. We'll take a look at the S&P 500. We just looked at the NASDAQ earlier, the Tech 100, looking fine. And there's the S&P 500, looking fine. This is the index. Over here is the futures contract. Right there. Trading at 4,194.25 with a high today of 4,198. So, yeah, looking good. And NASDAQ is looking good. And we saw that a little while ago. We'll just show it to you again. Right. There it is. Looking good. Breaking the highs here. What's the high there? The high there is 13,326. Almost say 27. This one here is 13,311. So that's the high right there, 27. And the high today is 13,298. So we need to go 29 more points up to take out the highs of the last 6 months. Is that right? I think that's what it is, yeah. There is January right there. So January started off in the 11s. We went into a weekly buy there and it was riding up for a while. Then it went into a sell for 1 week. 1 week. And back into the buy. So this product has been in a weekly buy basically since the 3rd week of January, and since then only 1 week it went into a sell. Now no doubt it started to break down when it got up into the 13,000 area, and we got into a daily sell right here. Let's fix that right there, and then we got back into a buy here, and we got back into a sell there, and got into, I guess to catch that wave down, which was a nice little win. And then it got back into the buy here, and then we went into the weekly buy there, and then another daily buy right here. Nice little pop. And then, a little sideways action on the downside, failed altogether, and now we're back into the buy. Maybe we're going to see a big day over the next couple of days here. So, the earnings is the energy that does that. These banking earnings and economic numbers and all that stuff kind of puts a little charge into it, and then you dare to say something wild like, guess what? China, we're estimating 4% GDP, and woo, we got 4.5, and it's like, yeah, bet on that too, huh? Go for it. So, I wouldn't put a dime over there. All right, now from that, we'll take a look at the granddaddy of them all. That is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there. It was doing really well this morning, trying to take out the highs of, February. And then Goldman Sachs came out, and it knocked it down because I believe Goldman Sachs is actually in the index itself. So, it's down $12, which is like the Dow being down 100 and something. So if the Dow is even plus for the day, that's impressive. Yeah, the Dow is up 16 points when everybody else is flying, and that's because of Goldman Sachs. And then from there, we'll take a look at the last of the indices that are followed in the states here. That the 4 futures basically, and that is right there. That is the Russell 2000. You can see it's in a weekly buy now for a full week. Let's put that line in there. And the fast and the slower together, I want to say it's kind of like this hopping along slowly. And you can see it's trying to take out these highs and that high, and it's taking out all this stuff here. I guess that's the high that it wants to try to take out, which would be 1,820. And today the high is 1,825. So it took out that high. And right now we're trading right at it, 1,820. Just a little bit over, about almost a point over. It was 1,820.1 as the high, and now we're trading at, there you go, 1,821.1. So it's trying to lift up more and more. Just shows you that there is buying going on this morning. Definite buying going on. All right, that's about it, unless you have something else to say to me. Let's see, what else can we do? Oh, and what should we call this webinar today? We need to come up with a name for the webinar, too. And we'll come up with something. Let's see, what did we start off talking about? Started talking Metho and I were looking at copper, and we were looking at, and Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is lifting up. And I guess we could say it again. We've used this title a few times, how the cryptos lead the market up. So I'm going to label it as Bitcoin joins the rally. That would be a good title for this one. And the currencies are pretty much mixed, I guess you could say, really. So there's not much more to be said about any of this then. All right, since I don't see anybody asking a question, we're going to get out of Dodge. So this is Doc saddling up. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Friends. Later, traders. Talk to you later. Ta-ta for now. Be safe, be smart.